All right, Libra, thanks for tuning in to your yearly 2015 horoscope. My name is ATHEN. Okay, so we've got some eclipses, of course, and what I like to do is I like to focus on the major theme and then start to narrow it in from there. So the major theme is always the lunar cycle, and in this case for the yearly, it's the eclipses. So by looking at where the eclipses are, we can get a very good general idea of where the energies are going to be in the major theme of things. Then I'll get into the transiting planets, their locations, and then the aspects they're going to be forming with each other, which of course makes it a little bit more specific, and it gives some dates and months as well. All right, so starting off with the eclipse last year in October, it was in your sign, your first house. And so there was something new, some new beginnings, probably multiple things actually for you Librans, that maybe you just set off on a new path, something you wanted to do in terms of your goals, your ambitions, something of that nature, or perhaps just a complete different metamorphosis of self or reorientation of what you want to do. And so whatever that was, continue focusing on that up until the March-April time period, the springtime, when we have the next set of eclipses. And so using these first 3 months to do that, that's where the flow is going to be. You know, using the lunar cycle is the flow. We're in the flow when we do so, especially with the eclipses because they are associated with the north and south nodes. So there's some adjustment to path. There is a direction there when we're focused in that way. So keep focusing on self, focus on your ambitions, your goals, whatever it is that you're working on in that department. Then in spring, we've got the eclipses happening in Pisces, which is your 6th house. So whatever it is going to culminate, and I think it's going to be some sort of improvement because the 6th house deals with self-improvement and also health and routine and stuff like that too. So something culminating there, but then getting you set into a new direction, perhaps a new path of self-improvement, perhaps realizing that you want to start taking care of your health a little bit more, your physical body. That's all 6th house related stuff. And this is not just physical though, it's also mental and spiritual health as well. So whatever that is, focus on that. There's going to be something new there, and focus on that from spring to fall. That whole time period, the middle part of the year, is in flow for you to continue with that. It can also be a craft that you develop as well. 6th house is, you know, the work that we do in terms of a craft that we're developing. It could be service oriented, or it could be, you know, like a physical craft. So either one, it could be that, but it's probably a little bit of that along with the health and stuff as well. Then in the fall time, we've got the next set of eclipses, and these are happening in Leo and Virgo. And so the culmination of all this is going to be in that 12th house. Okay, so whatever it is that you are doing with the health and whatnot for the middle part of the year, I think you're going to notice a very nice spiritual culmination of that peace and presence in your life. And so that's very nice, very tranquil actually, very peaceful. But what's going to set you off into a new direction is going to be the solar eclipse in that fall time period in September, which is going to be taking place in your 11th house. The 11th house has to do with your service, also the enjoyment you have with your work when it's not necessarily material or physical. It's your enjoyment of work. It's also service, being there for others, anything community related or group related, and overall your sense of freedom. So I think that's going to be a new path for you coming out of 2015 and into 2016, which might be a newfound freedom or something new that you're working on in terms of a project or something group or community related. It could also be technology as well. It's another 11th house thing. So focusing on those areas in general really helps things flow. So now let's go ahead and talk about specifically where the transiting planets are for you this year. Starting with Jupiter. Jupiter has been in Cancer last year in 2014, and he's going to continue to be there up until July of 2015. So for the first half of this month, continue with all of this expansion and opportunities that you guys have in the career or work area. Jupiter's been expanding that 10th house, and that has to do with public image, work, career, public status, accolades, achievements, all these sorts of things that are, you know, top of the chart. So any opportunities there, you know, just watch for them. You know, Jupiter's going to be retrograde for the first few months of the year up until April, but that's going to be a reflection. Use that time to reflect, see where these opportunities are, where they have been for you last year in 2014. Then when he goes direct in April, that's when things will start to externalize again and really utilize them. Because a lot of times with Jupiter, it's benefic, but we can let it pass us by if we don't actually do anything with those opportunities. So it takes action, and it takes some, concretizing it, making it a reality. And that's where Saturn comes in. So looking at the placement of Saturn, we can see exactly how that can, how we can, create those opportunities into a hard reality. And so with Saturn, he's transiting your second house. And this has been a recent transit. He just went in there at the tail end of last year. And he's going to be in that second house all of 2015 and all of 2016, which is about perhaps getting more real with your finances or just with abundance in general. Saturn is a very, earthy sort of energy. So it probably does have to do with finances in particular, but it's all abundance. And what Saturn's showing you is that you can have abundance in your life through hard work, through discipline, through pragmatism. And so when you approach that sector of your life in this Saturnine way, you'll notice it'll flow for you. It's like a dollar saved is a dollar earned kind of thing with Saturn in that second house. So use that for the whole year, and you can see a lot of abundance coming to you when you step into that mature, grounded approach to abundance in general. And what Saturn's also showing you is your sense of self-worth, that you deserve abundance, but it takes that, it takes stepping into that power to make it a reality. Now let's go ahead and talk about Uranus. Uranus has been transiting your guys' 6th house for a very long time. He's going to continue this year. And in terms of that Uranus, it's about freedom through the routine. A lot of you guys are finding how you can have routine, you can have health, you can have everything taken care of in terms of your physical surroundings and body, while at the same time mix things up and make it exciting. And it's very important for you guys to do this. And you'll notice that when you take care of your health, you have freedom. You see, there's a close link between taking care of ourselves and the things in our life in order to enjoy our freedom, to have freedom. And so that's what Uranus is really showing you. So continue with that, and this is strongly associated with the South Node, so probably some releasing that has to do with some old ideas about health or self-improvement or a craft in some way. And so whatever that is, just release it, and you'll notice the more you do that, if it's a block or whatever, the more you'll do that, you'll find more freedom. You'll have more of that Uranus energy coming through, which is wanting to express itself in a very fun, exciting, unique sort of way. Now, in terms of Neptune and Chiron, they are obviously very slow as well, and they've been transiting your 5th house for some time. And so your 5th house is, about your creativity, your fun, your life force energy. And so having Neptune there, this is sometimes not quite sure exactly what you enjoy or what your creative pursuits are, what you are really good at creatively, or what you really want sometimes, with this kind of placement. But what Neptune is showing you that it's about connecting to things on, not so much on the mental level in terms of, okay, this is what I like, this is who I am. More of, this is a connection I have, I can't quite describe it, but I really enjoy doing these things. So connecting to things on that spiritual level in terms of your enjoyment, whether it's artistic or what have you, anything that brings your passion out and your creativity out, connecting to it on that spiritual level, okay, is going to allow that really good, feeling to come forth from it, and that enjoyment to come forth, which is in essence a spiritual connection and spiritual enjoyment of it. And Chiron's also transiting there, so there is some perhaps healing that needs to take place with your guys' self-expression and creativity. Okay, so whatever that is, that's going to be different for all of you, but just be willing to be there for yourself, nurture yourself, and do any healing that takes place around there. But one thing I do want to say in terms of Chiron is that most of the time, if not all the time, it's just a mental thing. It's an insecurity or something that you you're really good at. You're very creative. We all are, and you're a very creative person. And you'll see that once you get past all of the mental blocks or emotional blocks that Chiron is helping you release during this transit. But overall, it's just enjoying yourself, and through that, you'll find that very healing. Okay, and that's the whole point of Chiron. Now with Pluto, we've had Pluto transiting your 3rd house for a very long time. It's going to continue to be there. And this has to do with your thoughts and communications. Okay, so with Pluto in that third, it's about seeing the power of your word, which is the communication, and the power of thought. You know, the third house is a manifestation house, and it has to do with how we think, what we think turns into a reality. Okay, what we say, the words we put out there, turns into a reality. So stepping into that power, that spiritual power, to manifest your reality based on your thoughts and your communications. Okay, so continue to be very mindful in terms of what you're thinking, what you're saying. Step into that power and let go of any old belief systems that are around old ideas, old emotional patterns around, you know, your communications or your thinking patterns that are just no longer serving you, all of these sorts of things. Do that releasing work, and what you'll find is that there's immense power in your speech, in your thoughts, that can not only manifest your reality, but they can really do really profound things, especially for other people. Like the words you use and choose to say when you're with certain people in your relationship can have a very, very powerful effect. Those types of things, okay? But it will take some of that releasing work in terms of Pluto, so just see where there's attachment, accept the attachment, and then let it go. And that's essentially how Pluto works. It's easier said than done sometimes. It can be very challenging, but it's different for all of us, so just do whatever you're called to do and do the best you can with that, and you'll notice that the more you release, the more that power is going to be unlocked. Okay, so that's the transiting planets. Now let's go ahead and look at how those planets are going to be aspecting each other throughout the year. Okay, so first things first is we have this Uranus-Pluto square that's been going on since the past 2 to 3 years, actually, very long time. And we're coming up to the tail end of it now in March. And this has been a square that's been involving that freedom through the routine that I was talking about, along with all this Pluto releasing of thoughts and communications. So there's some balancing that needs to be, that needs to take place here. These two are, they're squaring up to each other. There's something that needs to be integrated. So whatever that is, you'll notice that the more freedom you bring into the daily activities, the more it's going to unlock the thoughts and communications of that third house. And you'll notice the more you step into that power and do that releasing work, it's going to assist you in your freedom, especially around the day-to-day activities or with your work on that day-to-day level, whatever it is, and with your health as well, strongly associated with health here. You'll notice that the more you set those positive intentions, do that releasing work, it's going to increase your health. You're going to feel better. It's also going to, increase your ability to communicate and think positively or clearly. So those two are very strongly related, and January is going to be a very strong month in terms of it because Pluto is going to be squaring up to the North Node, and Uranus going to be conjunct the South Node. So it's aspecting all of this. The North Node's playing a big role. It's part of a T-square with it, actually. So January is about taking action. Okay, that's what I see with this. Taking action, stepping into that co-creator role, making whatever of those changes you need to make in order to move in that North Node direction. And the North Node direction for you guys for the whole year is on your spirituality, on your peace and presence, wanting simplicity in your life, wanting spirituality in your life, presence in your everyday experiences. So, focusing on that, moving in that spiritual direction of presence, peace, and flow, you'll notice that the more you do the releasing work, the more it assists that. Okay, the more it helps you do that, have that peace and presence. And January is the month to really do that. Okay, and in terms of Uranus, releasing any old emotional patterns or old patterns relating to your health, old habits perhaps, letting go of some old habits, and whatever that is, letting go of those things that are perhaps not healthy for you or just no longer serving you, you'll notice is not only increasing your health, but also is increasing your spiritual connection as well. Now let's go ahead and look at March. March is the next important month. We've got the eclipses in March, but we also have the end of that Uranus-Pluto square that I talked about. So leading up to that, be sure to do this work, okay? And I think by the time March comes around, you'll notice that it's an integration, that you've completed what there is to complete, and the more you've done that releasing and freedom and stuff I talked about, the more you're going to notice it manifesting in your life from March onward. Okay, but at that point it'll be finished. Now also in March we have Jupiter trining up to Uranus, which has been an ongoing thing, and it's been assisting this whole T-square actually. It's been since September of 2014, and it's going to continue through June of this year. So for the first half of this year, you're going to have plenty of opportunities for freedom. We all are. And that's the freedom in that 6th house area that I talked about. Perhaps it's a freedom of creating a new skill, perhaps as well. Seeing how when you do what you are good at, it creates a tremendous amount of that connection to your true self. It's a little bit of that, but overall, I think with Jupiter transiting that 10th house, I think there's opportunities coming in to your work when you're developing your skills at work as well, and your routine. You got to have the routine and everything taken care of in your health in order to really see and capitalize on those opportunities in that 10th house for you guys with Jupiter there. And also allowing those opportunities to come in from your 10th house is going to assist you in those 6th house matters as well. So very supportive energy there, lots of freedom and lots of opportunities, particularly in those 10th and 6th house areas for you guys. All right, so the next major month is August. We have Jupiter squaring up to Saturn during this month, and so this is constructive energy. Anytime Jupiter and Saturn get together, it's a way to really utilize those possibilities, those opportunities into a reality. Now, by this point, Jupiter is going to be in your 11th house. So in July, Jupiter is going into that 11th, which means from July onward and into 2016, that the opportunities are going to be around a lot of those groups and communities that I was talking about with the eclipse. So something is shifting in the summer time period, and it has to do with that 11th house. Groups, communities, freedom, your true self, maybe something technological. And so lots of opportunities there, okay? And that's going to continue, like I said, for a year after, into 2016. And so August, after that, from July and then August, is going to be a time of making that a reality, making it a practical reality. So whatever that is, perhaps it's taking this group project or these things you're relating to with the community or technology and making it into something. Perhaps tying it in with work, or perhaps just tying it in. You could even make money from it too. With Saturn transiting that 2nd house, there's a connection there. Okay, but it will take hard work, not necessarily a challenging work, but it will take effort. So use August as a month of taking effort to make whatever these opportunities are a reality. And I think you'll be very pleased with, at the very least, feeling very valuable in the process, like you've developed a stronger sense of self-worth by doing those things. Now in September, it's the next set of eclipses, so another powerful month. And we also have Jupiter opposite Neptune and Saturn sextiling up to the North Node. So in terms of Jupiter opposite Neptune, this is having to balance. And it's balancing the 11th house with the 5th house. So whatever this group stuff, this 11th house community related stuff is, it needs to be balanced with whatever you're doing on a creative level. Has to be balanced with yourself. It's a balancing of self and other, realizing that it's not all about just giving and being of service. It's also important for you to take care of your own enjoyment for life. So if it is something you're getting very serious with, just remember to balance it with enjoyment. And if it's something that you're being, that you're giving a lot through, maybe the shift for you in the summer is about starting to give more through your work. Or in a side project or something of that nature, just be sure to give yourself plenty of attention, to enjoy your life, to go out there and do the things that you enjoy, which is taking enough time off and perhaps even, just in the process, making sure that you are giving yourself as much attention as you are giving others. So there's a balancing of that 11th and 5th house. Now also Saturn sextiling up to the North Node, it's going to be very constructive as well, another very constructive month, but I think it's going to come easier by this point. I think whatever these eclipses do, they unlock a sort of easiness about this, and it makes it easy to start putting in some practical work and grounding into your spiritual direction. Something's going on you guys might be working on behind the scenes, spirituality, presence, flow, all that type of 12th house stuff, and September is going to be a month where you can really assist that and make it more of a reality or ground it in some way. But it's an opportunity because it's a sextile, so you may choose or not choose to do it. So just know that the opportunities are there for you to make advancements in that spiritual sector along with your finance sector strongly in the month of September in particular. Now in October we have another Jupiter trine. Jupiter's going to be trining up to Pluto. Very benefic actually, and this is helping you make those constructive changes to the thoughts and communications. Thoughts and communications might take a higher role during this time in October, perhaps taking a course, class, learning. It's a great month to study, to teach, to communicate, perhaps write a book, those types of things. You're going to be very supported in that third house area from Jupiter, okay? So do pay attention around there in October. And a lot of positive change is available as well, but you have to take the initiative because with the trine, it's just there. It's an opportunity. You may choose or not choose to do it. Now in November is the last major month of the year. We have the Jupiter opposite Chiron, so again needing some balance with self and other, with service work and your own enjoyments of life, and that you'll find very healing too. So really this whole fall time period, just make sure you're keeping that nice harmony there, and you'll find it very, very healing and perhaps very spiritual as well. And also in November, we have Saturn squaring up to Neptune, so this is really grounding spirituality, perhaps taking a more flowing process to the whole constructive financial abundance sector with Neptune there, but perhaps maybe making a hobby or a craft, a creative thing that you might be working on during that time, more of a reality and doing something with it. That's a possibility there. So whatever that is, making something that you consider spiritual, making it into a reality in November. All right, guys, so I'm going to draw a card and see where Spirit would like a little more emphasis. Okay, Pisces. Well, I think that might be an indication to take it nice and flow. Take it nice and present in the, in the now. And with this North Node in that 12th house, this is essentially what this whole year is about. It's peaceful. It's going with the flow. There's a lot of things you can do, lots of achievement, but it's in that present moment. It's stopping to smell the roses. That's what I'm getting the indication of, especially with this balancing of that 5th house. It's saying to make sure that whatever you're doing, make sure you're enjoying it, you're present with it, and you enjoy the process. I think that's the most important thing for you guys. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys have a great 2015. If you'd like a personal reading, please click the link on the following page. I do recorded and live sessions, and hope you guys have a great month. Take care.